So just going to do a seated breathing practice, just like I do at the start of most of the classes I teach. 5, maybe 10 minutes. So sit in any comfortable seated posture. You can sit in Virasana, like I'm sitting, on your shins with your heels just outside your hips, and sitting on a block or 2 blocks if you need to, or a couple pillows. You can sit in Virasana with your legs in front of you. You can sit in half lotus if that's comfortable for you to do, whichever you prefer, whatever feels good for your hips and your legs and your body. Try to make sure that your knees are lower than your hips so that your pelvis is tilted forward and you're not crunching in towards the front of yourself and allowing the front of your body to collapse in. So just get as tall as you can and reach your spine up towards the ceiling. And imagine creating a little bit of space between each vertebrae in your spine and the one below it, so that you're nice and tall and no vertebrae feel like they're crushing in on the ones below them. Space between each of the vertebrae in your spine for the nerves that emerge from your spinal cord to have some room to breathe around themselves. And get as close to vertical as you can, as well as tall as you can. And bring your awareness to your breath, inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. Deep inhalations and complete exhalations. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose, creating a soft whispering sound at the back of your throat on both the inhalation and the exhalation. Ujjayi breathing, it's called. Upwardly victorious breath. And it does, when you focus on it, help you to feel as though you can, with the sound of that breath, lift your chest up and away from your pubic bone. Making the breath as smooth as you can on both the inhalation and the exhalation, with nice smooth transition from the end of the inhalation into the start of the exhalation, and from the end of the exhalation into the beginning of the inhalation again. So that there's never a point in the breathing process where you forget what you're doing and hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Don't let your throat close off around the breath. Throat stays open and the lungs expand, the rib cage expands to accommodate the lungs. And at the peak of the inhalation, then the ribs press back and the lungs contract, pressing air out of your body. The pause between inhalation and exhalation and inhalation is not a pause because the throat has closed. It's a pause waiting for the natural tidal movement of your rib cage to complete itself before it does the opposite. So trying to inhale deeply and exhale completely. Trying to stay right in this moment with this breath. You might imagine that you're in a pond with the water just at your upper lip, just below your nostrils. And you're trying to breathe so smoothly and deeply that the movement of your breath into and out of your nostrils doesn't create ripples on the surface of the pond. Trying to keep your thoughts in this moment with this breath. If thoughts other than that occur to you, just imagine that there are bubbles rising to the surface of the pond and watch them float away from you. There's no reason to get attached to them. So by sitting and not moving around and not stirring up our thoughts, it's as though we're allowing ourselves to become clear, as though we're allowing our thoughts to become clear and our emotions to settle. As though, again, if you were in that pond, the surface of that pond, your thoughts is as smooth, working on being as smooth as glass. And any agitation you feel emotionally is like the sediment in the pond. You can't do anything by going in and stirring up the water. You have to just allow it to settle and take time for that silt to sink towards the bottom of the pond. Om. Here, now, is the teaching of yoga. Yoga is the cessation of the ripples of thought. When the ripples of thought cease, then the spirit abides in its true nature as observer of the world. Otherwise, spirit misidentifies with the ripples of thought, mistaking itself to be the ripples of thought.